the energy is not required, right? And these transport takes place in the direction of concentration gradient. So what is the direction of concentration gradient? So normally the direction of concentration gradient is it's from the high concentration to low concentration. So when the movement of molecule takes place from the high concentration to low concentration, we call that the transport is going on. Transport is in the direction of transport is in the direction of concentration gradient. So here the transport or diffusion of material or diffusion of matter takes place from a high concentration to low concentration, right? So that is the direction of uh, and normally the diffusion takes place from higher concentration to lower concentration. So here the plant have not to spend energy. That's why we call this passive transport. Now what is the active transport? When the transport takes place against the direction of concentration gradient. What is the against direction of concentration gradient? Means the diffusion have to take place from low concentration to higher concentration. Now from low concentration to high concentration, what does it mean? It means that this diffusion is taking place against the concentration gradient. We call it uphill. So when you are going to against the concentration gradient, you have to spend the energy, right? So that is called active transport. Is that clear? What is the active and passive transport?
Yes, sir.
In the nutshell, active transport is against the stream and passive transport in the direction of the stream. And you know, when you are swimming against the stream, you have to spend lots of energy. Now come to the passive transport. So there are two kinds of the passive transport: diffusion A and facilitated diffusion. So in simple diffusion takes place through the simple diffusion takes place of those things which are lipid soluble. Lipid soluble means fat soluble. So there are some substances which have to be diffused through the plasma membrane. So first come here. This is the structure of plasma membrane. This is the bilayer of lipid. These are the molecule of lipid. The head part is that is hydrophilic and this tail part is hydrophobic part, right? Hydrophilic means water soluble or water loving part. Hydrophobic means that is the water repelling part, right? So lipid soluble substance directly diffuse from the higher concentration to lower concentration through this lipid molecule, lipid bilayer, right? Between the lipid bilayer, there are some protein molecules. These protein molecules, they are called channel protein or gateway protein, right? So fats, water soluble substance, they cannot diffuse through this bilayer of lipid. Water soluble substance, they diffuse through the channel or gateway protein, right? So this kind of the diffusion is called facilitated diffusion. In facilitated diffusion, this is also a passive diffusion. Energy is not required over there, but facilitated diffusion takes place through these channel protein, right? Channel protein or carrier protein. So there are channel, this is the channel protein. In channel protein, there is a different protein that is called carrier protein, a second protein called carrier protein. Carrier protein will pick from here and drop inside, right? But energy will not be spent. Tell me, is it clear or not?
Yes.
Great. Look, this is the passive transport. Again, I have shown the same thing. In passive transport, diffusion takes place through the lipid soluble substance. They diffuse through the lipid bilayer. In facilitated diffusion, it takes place through this channel protein, right? But this is the passive transport. In active transport, look, here the energy ATP is spent, and when the ATP will is spent, and there are also channel protein through which the active transport will take place, right? But the only difference is that passive transport will be in the direction of gradient, and active transport will be against the direction of gradient. Okay. Now, type of the channel protein, right? So did you got that channel protein? What is the channel protein, Aisha?
Yes.
Great. Now channel protein. So these channel can be of two types, right? So uniport and co-transport. In uniport, at one time, only one type of the molecule will be transferred, or one type of the molecule will be diffused out, right? Will diffuse out. But In co-transport, the two molecule will diffuse simultaneously, right? So this is called co-transport. Suppose that this is the uniport, there are uniport in membrane which diffuse the glucose from higher concentration to lower concentration, right? But in co-transport, the both of substance can be transported in same direction and sometime in opposite direction. For example, in our digestive system, in our intestine, there are some channel protein which are known as symport, right? Diffusion of fructose and sodium takes simultaneously. If fructose will diffuse, then sodium. If one molecule of the fructose will go in, then sodium will also go in. So when two substances are transported simultaneously, this kind of the port, this kind of the channel called symport, right? In antiport, if one will come, then another will go out, right? So there is a chloride and bicarbonate ion, right? If chloride ion will come in, then bicarbonate ion will go out. So this is an example of antiport, right? So the channel protein, ion channel protein can be of two types, uniport and co-transport. Further, co-transport can be of two types, symport or antiport. Tell me, is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the question? I say actually this question, like the fructose, the co-transport takes place in fructose sodium, fructose chloride, glucose sodium, right? Sodium potassium. So these were the options. So this question have been asked 3 or 4 times in medical exam. Did you got?
Yes, sir.
That kind of the question you will get, right? Even all these example which I have given, they have been asked in previous year question paper, right? So like lipid soluble substances can be transported through channel protein, active transport, passive transport, lipid bilayer, right? Passive transport by protein. So that kind of the question you will get. These are the question, the question which I am telling you, these have already been asked, right? So factor that influences the diffusion: first concentration gradient, then permeability of molecule, temperature and pressure. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So now rest of one more important thing. This is the osmosis. So I'll explain you osmosis and all that, 2 or 3. Let me ask you that what we did in the previous class. So, Rabia, what we did in last class? Where we were, like which topic we covered?
Yes, sir. One sec. In the last class,
Yes,
we discussed the transport in plants, and
transport.
then
Yes.
and
What
then
was the
we
last heading?
discussed the last heading. It was stages of plasmolysis.
Plasmolysis. This one. Okay, fine. So, Aisha, we have just covered, like I told you, the type of the channel, plant water relation, DPD, and water potential. That I have to tell you this 3 heading, right? So you have left just 3 heading, right? In next class, join the class 20 minutes or 25 minutes before the class. I'll explain all these headings. Fine, Aisha?
Yes.
Okay. So let's wait for one another student to join us, then we'll start, right?
Okay, sir.
Till the time, if you have any question, you can ask me. If you have any question, you can ask me. Any question, any doubt? So I saw what you are doing in 12th class, like what you have covered in 12th class.
We've completed the reproduction in flowering plants and human reproduction and reproductive health.
Okay, great. But what is the most important part of the in 12th class syllabus? Not in 12th class syllabus. What is the most important part um, in your complete medical examination? That is the genetics. You will get 18 to 20 questions from the genetics. Means approximately 80 numbers. Then after genetics, then reproduction, plant reproduction. So let's start. Uh, so in last class, we did that these kind of the plasmolysis, and there are a number of the time the question have been asked from the plasmolysis, right? So in plasmolysis, I told you there can be plasmolysis mean when water comes out of the cell. So when plasmolysis take place, when we keep cell in higher concentration, then plasmolysis takes place. Water come out, right, from the cell, and this is called plasmolysis. When the freezer were not there, and when refrigerator or ice making factories, these kind of the things were not there. So in European countries and in many other countries where the temperature is high, a bit higher side, so they people, basically European people, what they used to do, they used to put the fishes and the meat in salt, right, to preserve them. Why they used to do that? Any idea? And still there are this practice is going on. Some pickles, some vegetables, and they are kept in salt, right? And either the salt is pasted outside of them to preserve them for the longer time period, to save them for the longer time. Any idea? Tell me, both of you. The plasmolysis. Why? Why the vegetable, or why the these fishes or flesh uh, it rot? The reason behind it, water. You can see if you dehydrate anything, if water is less, those things uh, which have the higher quantity of the water in their body, they get rot fast. For spinach, you can use it for the 5 to 10 hours. After 5 to 10 hours, you won't be able to use it because uh, it will get vanished, right? Why? Because those things which have higher water content, they are infected by the bacteria or invaded by the bacteria very easy, right? So if any vegetable or any flesh or fish, if had higher water content, you cannot preserve it for the longer time. When you will paste salt, when you will apply or rub the salt around this, what will happen? The water will come out. Plasmolysis will take place. Water will come out. So the water quantity will reduce, and it can be preserved for the longer time. The same thing with the fishes and flesh. Why they used to apply the salt? Actually, when they used to apply the salt on the flesh or the fish, what used to happen? The water used to come out from the fishes and the flesh. Then it get dehydrated, and it remains preserved for the longer time period. That's why it is used to be done, right? Now the stages of plasmolysis. How the plasmolysis come? So I told you in the last class that this is the normal plasmolysis is called limiting plasmolysis, right? So the first kind of the plasmolysis we call that is the limiting plasmolysis. What happened in the limiting plasmolysis? When you keep any cell in the uh, in that concentrated substance or concentrated liquid, what happen? Water come out of these cells, right? And water, when the water will come out of these cell, what will happen? They will get shrink. So from where the water will come out? Basically, the water will not come out of the protoplasm. So from where the water will come out? Tell me, guys. Aisha and Rabia, tell me. Suppose that you keep the cell in higher concentration in a material with a higher concentration, water will come out, right? So, but water will, from where the water will come out? Is that from the protoplasm? Keep on telling me. No idea?
Yes, sir.
Look, if our cell is kept in the higher concentration, suppose that if a human cell is kept in the salt, right? Then water will come out of the protoplasm because we do not have vacuole. But in the plant cell, there is a vacuole. This white color structure is vacuole. So in plant cell, vacuole is the largest organelle. Vacuole becomes, this is called central vacuole. And central vacuole become that much larger, that would happen. This is called central vacuole. Central vacuole, it store water, it stores salt, it stores color, right? So when you will keep it in the higher concentration, what will happen? The water will start coming out from the vacuole. So during the process of plasmolysis, the water come out from the vacuole, not from the protoplasm, right? In animal cell, it will come out from the protoplasm, right? So when a normal cell is kept in a concentrated solution, water will come out from the vacuole to external environment, and this process is called plasmolysis. Normal plasmolysis or normal plasmolysis is also termed as the limiting plasmolysis, right? Did you got that? This is called limiting plasmolysis. So this is called, let me write it. The first kind of the plasmolysis, this is called limiting plasmolysis. You have to remember what is the limiting, what is the incipient. Limiting plasma, right? So limiting plasmolysis is the first stage of the plasma, right? This is the first stage of plasma. Very first, so the first stage, very first, the type of the plasmolysis will take place, that is called limiting plasma. Now, what is the next stage? So what is the next stage? In next stage, what will happen? The incipient plasmolysis takes place. So what is the incipient plasmolysis? Let me tell you what is the incipient plasmolysis. So water will keep on coming out from the vacuole if you will keep on placing the cell in the higher concentrated solution. So what will happen in the second stage? The protoplasm will start to come out, or it will detach from the corner of the cell wall, right? So space will be created, and this space will get filled with the hypertonic solution. So when the protoplasm pull back itself from the corner of cell wall, this condition is called incipient plasmolysis. This is the second stage, right? If you will keep on putting the same cell in the further higher concentrated solution, what will happen? Now further water will come out, and due to which that except few places, like here, from here, 2 or 3 places where the protoplasm remains connected with the cell wall, else it will be pulled back, right? So this is, and the space which is created on that space, the higher concentrated solution will get filled. This is called evident plasmolysis. Finally, there is a final plasmolysis. What will happen if you keep on putting it? The water will keep on coming out, and due to which the protoplasm will get shrink and it will detach completely itself from the cell membrane, right, or the cell wall, right. And this vacant space which have been created due to plasmolysis will get filled with the hypertonic solution. This stage is called final plasmolysis. So there are three kinds of the plasmolysis basically: the limiting plasmolysis, incipient plasmolysis, and evident plasmolysis. Clear, Aisha?
Yes, sir.
Rabia, everything clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you have to remember what will happen in incipient, what will happen evident, what will happen in limiting. That is the question, and that kind of the question comes in examination, right? In limiting plasmolysis, the cell will become flaccid. Now come to the long distance transport. So diffusion, and this osmosis, they are the method of short distance transport. So how does the water transport takes place in the long distance transport? When we talk about the long distance transport, we talk about how the water is transported from the root to the top of the plant, that the shoot, right? And how the food come from the top of the plant to the root, right? So these kind of the transport is called long distance transport. So this is the structure of root, right? This is the transfer section of root, right? And there are two pathway which is followed by the water. That is symplastic and apoplastic path, right? Try to understand. First, I will tell you what is the anatomy. So in anatomy of root, you must have gone through in 11th class. The external part have some root hair, These are the hair-like structure. They help in absorption of basically two things. First thing is water, and second thing is mineral, right? That's how they transport. Uh, how they absorb the substance. Then there is another layer which is after the root hair. So these root hair arise from here only. This is called epidermis. After epidermis, there are some cells which are called cortex. The cortex, the inner layer of the cortex is called endodermis. Inside endodermis, there is a uh, xylem and phloem, right? That is a transport section or anatomy. Now, what is the apoplastic and what is the symplastic? In apoplastic pathway, try to understand. In apoplastic pathway, the water will not enter inside the protoplasm. Means water will not go through the vacuole. Water will not go inside the protoplasm. So where it will travel? It will travel through the space between the cell wall and protoplasm, right? There is a space. So they follow that space. That is called apoplastic pathway. In symplastic pathway, the transport will take place, or water will be transported through vacuum. Right? So that is called symplastic pathway. So in symplastic pathway, the water have to enter inside the protoplasm. Did you got my point or not? Tell me. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So one more very, very important thing which I want to share with you. You can see the inner layer of the cortex is called endodermis, right? Endodermis have a type of thickening, right? So this endodermis have a kind of thickening. What is the thickening? Actually, there is a thickening of Casparian strip, right? This Casparian strip, Casparian strip is a type of this. It is made up of calcium pectate, basically, right? That is not permeable for the water. So here in endodermis, the apoplastic pathway cannot be followed. In here, the endodermis, the water have to enter into protoplasm, and that is called symplastic pathway. So in endodermis layer or endodermis cell, symplastic pathway is followed. Apoplastic pathway is uh, not possible. So you can see this blue color direction, this blue color line, it shows the direction of symplastic pathway. This red color line, it shows the direction of apoplastic pathway. Look, what happened in apoplastic pathway? Water is taken by the root here. Water start traveling the space between the protoplasm and root here. Then it will come to the here cortex. In cortex, it will keep on going through it will not, the cell will, the water will not enter inside the cell. It will reach to the endodermis. When it will reach to the endodermis, I have already told you that endodermis have a special kind of the thickening. That thickening is called Casparian strip, right? It have Casparian strip. So if Casparian strip is present, it means there is no, what is that? There is no apoplastic pathway. So apoplastic pathway is not possible. Pathway is not possible. So here, what is the possible? That is only symplastic pathway. So here you can see this red color direction. It enter inside so it become blue color. Look, this arrow, this part of the arrow is blue color. So what happened? It enter inside the protoplasm, then it reaches to the xylem. So this is called apoplastic pathway. In symplastic pathway, what will happen? The water will enter inside the vacuole of one cell. That will go. It will pass from one cell to another cell. That these pores between the two cells are known as the plasmodesmata, right? So they will pass through from one cell to another, from another to another vacuole, and finally they will reach to here endodermis, right? And endodermis, what happened? Only the symplastic pathway is taken, right? And then it will enter into the xylem. So there are two kind of the pathways, symplastic and apoplastic pathway. I will show you again with the help of this schematic diagram. Look, the outer layer, epidermis or root hair, both apoplastic and symplastic pathway. There is a plasmodesmata, that is the interconnection between two cells. From cortex, even in the cortex, apoplastic and symplastic pathway is possible. Then when it will come to the endodermis, in endodermis there is no Casparian strip. So what will happen? The symplastic pathway is followed here. In symplastic pathway, again the water will transfer from the Casparian strip or from the endodermis to the pericycle and then to the xylem, right? So till this point, till the Casparian strip, apoplastic and symplastic both pathway are possible, but after this endodermis part, only symplastic pathway is followed, right? Now tell me, is it clear or not? Go through with it and tell me. Apoplastic, symplastic pathway, clear or not? Aisha and Rabia, tell me.
Sir, if you don't mind, can you explain again?
Yeah, sure. In apoplastic pathway, what happened? Look, suppose that let me make you cell a separate cell for you, then it will become more clear for you. So suppose that this is a plant cell, right? This is a plant cell, and this is another plant cell. Between two plant cells, there are some connections or pore. These are the holes or pore. These pore connect the protoplasm of one cell to the protoplasm of another cell. What we call them? We call them plasmodesmata. So plasmodesmata are a type of pore or interconnection through which a cell get connected with the another cell. So this is the cell A and this is the cell B. So what is the outermost part of the cell? Can you tell me what is the outer layer of the cell? That is cell wall. Cell wall. After cell wall, what will be there?
Cell membrane.
Very good. You can call it cell membrane or plasma membrane. So in plant, so both of the so after the cell wall, there is another layer. This layer is called plasma. Membrane. And inside the plasma membrane, what is there? This is the vacuole, right? And this is the protoplasm. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is the protoplasm. And this is the vacuole, central vacuole. So what will happen? Now come to the symplastic pathway. So water can follow the two pathways. So in symplastic pathway, what will happen? Water will enter into this vacuole. Clear? So water will enter into this vacuole. From this vacuole, this water will enter into another vacuole, right? So that will take place. So here, when water have to transfer from one cell to another cell, water have to come will be transported from one vacuole to another vacuole. Did you got it? This is called symplastic pathway.
Yes, sir.
So what is the symplastic pathway? In symplastic pathway, water is transported from one cell to another cell through vacuole or through protoplasm, right? Here water have to enter inside the protoplasm, but between cell wall and plasma membrane there is a space, right? So between plasma membrane and cell wall there is a space. So what will happen with that space? So basically, look, try to understand. Here, what will happen? The water will follow this pathway. The space between the two membrane from here to here, right? So this is called, here you can see the water have neither entered into protoplasm nor the water have entered inside the vacuole. So water is traveling just between the cell membrane and the cell wall, right? Between the plasma membrane and the cell wall, right? So in this space, this pathway is called apoplastic. Is that clear now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right? But if there is a barrier, right? So in endodermis cell, there is a barrier, means this part is impermeable. So what will happen if this part is impermeable? Can water pass through it? Water cannot pass through it. So what water have to do? Water have to go ahead. What water have to do? Water will enter inside the plasma membrane. Inside the protoplasm. And that's what happened here. Is that clear? So that's what I am telling. So first in apoplastic pathway, try to understand. In apoplastic pathway, you can see the water is crossing the this route here, then cortex, and then endodermis. So in endodermis, water will enter inside the cell, and they will reach to the where? They will reach to the xylem. And in symplastic pathway, what will happen? Water will enter into inside the protoplasm from one cell to another cell, from one cell to another cell, and will reach to the endodermis. In endodermis, again, it have to go inside the protoplasm, and they will reach to the xylem. So that is the all about the apoplastic and symplastic pathway. Tell me, is that clear now, Aisha and
Yes.
Rabia?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Okay. What is the mycorrhiza? Tell me. Who will tell me? What is the mycorrhiza? No idea? So first thing, what you have to note it down, that mycorrhiza are basically found in gymnosperm plant. So basically like gymnosperm, pinus and cycas, right? That you have to remember. That is the question which have already been asked, right, in exam. So what is the mycorrhiza? So basically gymnosperm, do you know gymnosperm, both of you?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So look, what is the difference between gymnosperm and angiosperm root? Angiosperm have very advanced roots, right? They can take out the water from anywhere. If you will ask me the example, I will give you example. There is an angiosperm, and the name of angiosperm is Welwitschia. Welwitschia. So Welwitschia is a plant that is angiosperm. That plant is found in the Sahara Desert. You know, in that plant, you can search after this class. And Welwitschia had two leaves come out after 20 years. That is the growth of that. The height of plant is 1.5 to 2 feet. Can you imagine what is the length of the root? The length of the root is 265 meters. So now you can understand. Now you can understand the capability of angiosperm. Angiosperm are very advanced plant, flowering plant. They have the capability to take out the water from anywhere. But in gymnosperm, the roots are not capable to absorb water efficiently. So what happened? Around the root of, try to understand, around the root of gymnosperm, there is a fungal covering. Fungus make a cover, right? That help to absorption, that help plant to absorb the mineral and the water. This is called mycorrhiza. This combination is called mycorrhiza. This structure is called mycorrhiza. Tell me, is that clear? Mycorrhiza.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What do you have to remember? The example. That is the question. What is guttation? Even guttation have been asked. By the way, this chapter is very important. So what is the guttation? What happened? Those area or those places. Please try to understand. This, the question was like this way. The question I've been asked in the form of a statement. Which of the following is correct? Which of the following is wrong about the guttation? Right. So what happened? I will give you an example like in South Africa, Ethiopia. So these are the country where the daytime temperature is very high and nighttime temperature is very low. So guttation will take place in that kind of the environment. So there are certain wide leaf plant, right? In Africa, wide leaf, they have the wide leaf, right? So what will happen? There will be a pore or hole like a structure at the margin of leaf. These pores are called hydathoid, right? So what happened? Water comes out from this plant in the form of droplet at the night time, and this process is called guttation, right? What happened? In the daytime, transpiration is very high, evaporation of water is very high, and in the night time there is no transpiration, but root pressure will keep on coming, right? Due to high transpiration, right? So root pressure will develop all the time. So what will happen at the night time? Water come out of these pores. This is called guttation, and basically these pores have a special name. These pores are called hydathoid. So water will keep on coming from this coming out from this plant in the night through this hydathoid. This process is called guttation. Tell me, is it clear?
Sir, can you repeat the definition?
If you want to note it down, you can please note it down. Please note it down. Guttation is the process. Guttation is the process in which water come out of, in which the water come out of, water come out of the plant leaf in the form of droplet, in the form of droplet through the hydathoid, through the hydathoid. Full stop. Next point. This process takes place in those places This process takes place in those places where they are very hot and nights are they are very hot and nights are colder. For example, African continent. Is that clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, one more thing I want to share with you. There is a tribe in the Africa. Basically, they are found in the Somalia and the northern, this one, eastern part of the Africa, Somalia and Nigeria. So the name of that tribe is Masai. Have you listened about them, Masai? So there is a
No,
Masai
sir.
tribe. What Masai do, they take out, they use the ostrich eggshell like bowl, right? So what they do in the night, in evening time, they put these bowl or they put these ostrich shell uh, uh, below the these wider leaves. In the morning time, they all the ostrich shell get filled with the water to the guttation, right? In the morning, they collect these all water from these ostrich shell, and that water is used whole day for drinking. Got it? So that is the economic importance. This is the structure of hydrathodes. So hydrathodes are like stomata, but there is a difference between the hydathode, right? Now you can see in hydathode, these are the trachees, means xylem, and after that there are some loose cells. They are called epitheme. At the epithemes are nothing but they are the loose parenchyma cells, and there is a guard cell, and from here the water come out, right? So this is the structure of hydathode. There are some theory. Uh, vital force theory was given by vital force theory, was also known as the pulsation theory, right? Vital force theory or pulsation theory, it was given by J.C. Bose. This is important, right? So what is the vital force theory? Now there was a question: how does the water reach at the top of the plant, right? From root to the top of the plant. There is a no motor like thing, right, which could create that much pressure. You can understand the Sequoia sempervirens, that is the 111, right? 111-meter high tree. 111-meter means approximately 350 feet tall plant. And even that is amazing. Without any motor, without any mechanical force, without any external force, water goes, reaches at the top of the plant from the root. How does it take place? So that was the question. So there was a scientist, his name was J.C. Bose, Jagdish Chandra Basu. What he said? He said that he explained it through the vital force theory. What is the vital force theory? According to vital force theory, there is a living force which pushes the water to the upside, right? And the same theory is also known as the pulsation theory. What you have to remember, who given the vital force theory? That was the question, right? So vital force theory was given by J.C. Bose. I have written over here. The same theory is also known as the pulsation theory, right? Then there is a root pressure theory. Root pressure theory was given by Priestley, right? Priestley is the same scientist who discovered that oxygen, right? As he said that oxygen come out of the plant. He was the Priestley only. So what happened? Root pressure theory, Priestley said that root develop that much pressure due to which water reaches to the top of the plant. Basically, root pressure exists there, but root pressure can work for the plant which are 2 feet, 4 feet, or 5 feet higher, taller, not more than that. Is that clear? So you have to remember who given the water vital force theory, who given the root pressure theory. Clear to both of you?
Yes, sir.
Great. Come to the next part. Now, what is the transpiration pull theory? So basically, cohesion and tension theory or transpiration pull theory. This theory was given by Dixon and Joly, two scientists. And this theory perfectly explained, and it is the most acceptable theory, which explains us how the water reaches from the root to the top of the plant. By which method? Got it? Now, what is the, so what is first thing what you have to remember, even this question I've been asked. What you have to remember, Dixon and Jolie given the transpiration pull theory, right? So try to understand. This is a plant, right? So plant have a special kind of the pipeline that is called xylem, right? Xylem. So xylem, they take water from the root of the plant to the top of the plant, right? These pipelines. But how does the water reaches at the top, right? So try to understand. So first thing that transpiration takes place. Look, this is the transpiration. Water is coming out from this stomata. In the transpiration create a pull force, right? Pulling force. Like suppose that what is the pull force? You have a straw, you put this straw inside the cold drink bottle and you keep on sucking it, right? And what happens when you suck the water? Because of the, you create a pressure, right? You, when you suck the cold drink, when you create a pressure, right? So that kind of the pressure is created by the stomata when transpiration takes place. This is called transpirational pull, right? So what is the first concept? Transpirational pull, right? Transpiration pull is created by the transpiration. Then water is pulled by the transpiration pull, and there is again the root here, they absorb the water and they create a pressure that is called root pressure. So first thing, transpirational pull, then second thing is that is the root pressure, right? So root pressure is created by the root. That's how the water reaches to the top of the plant because of two forces, what? Transpiration pull and root here. Now here I have tried to explain there is two forces which work in the transpiration process. So this is the, this blue color structure which I have made. This is the xylem trachete. Xylem trachete. So what happened in xylem trachete? This is the wall of the xylem, right? Water molecule they pull one water molecule, pull another water molecule, then another, then another. That's how a water column is created, right? Between two water molecule, there is a force that is called cohesive force. So basically, cohesive force is the force that is found between the two molecule of the same material, right? So water molecule, one water molecule pull another water molecule through a force that is called cohesive force, right? That's how a water column is created. Again, between water molecule and wall of the xylem trachete, there is a pressure. This is called, there is a force of attraction. This is called adhesive force, right? So adhesive force pull the water molecule towards itself, right? Toward the trachete, so that water column could not fall, right? So there are two forces which are working when the water is transported: cohesive force between the water molecule and adhesive force between the water and the wall of the trachete, right? So what cohesive force help? Cohesive force help in the formation of water column. What adhesive force do? Adhesive force do not allow the water column to fall down, right? Where what are two forces? Transpirational forces and root pressure. They work in transpiration. Tell me, is it clear or not? This concept is clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Do you want me to explain something? You want to jot it down? So there are three conditions through which the water is transported. Continuous water column. Sorry. So continuous water column. Look. First, the continuous water column in trachea elements means trachete. Water column is present due to cohesion, adhesion, and surface tension forces. Then cohesion or tensile strength. That is the cohesion provides the tensile strength between the water molecule. Between water molecule. Then what happened? Development of the development of tension takes place due to transpiration pull, right? Development of, then water is also pushed through the root pressure. So these are the steps of the transpiration, right? Now the transpiration can be of basically four type. That is important. Istometal transpiration, that takes place through 50 to 97% of the water is lost by the plant through the istometal transpiration. Now, what was the difficult question which have been asked in the medical examination, that uh, the number of istomata per centimeter square? That question I've been asked. So sometimes they can ask again this question. So what is the density? The number of istomata can be 1000 to 60,000 per centimeter square of the leaf, right?
Yes.
Now, what is the cuticular transpiration? When water is when the water goes out or transpiration takes place through the stomata, that is called stomatal transpiration. In cuticular transpiration, the water do not lose through the stomata. It loses through the cuticle or to the surface of the leaf, right? That is 3 to 10%. Lenticular transpiration. So there are certain hole in the stem. These are called lenticels, right? Lenticels. So lenticels are found in the stem. They keep on they always remains open, right? They never closes down. So in the stem, older stem, these lenticels are found. 0.1% transpiration takes place through lenticels, and this keep on going in day and night. Then bark transpiration. When water is lost through the bark due to heating, this is called bark transpiration. So basically, there are four kind of transpiration: stomatal, cuticular, lenticular, and bark transpiration. Tell me, Rabia and Aisha, is that clear?
Sir, will they ask the size of the cuticle in the NEET exam?
Size of the no. They can ask you the percentage. Either they will ask you the percentage, or they can repeat this question which they have asked. I have made the star, and wherever I have made the star, like you have to understand. This is already understood that this is very important part, right, for your medical exams. That is a question directly for your medical exam, right? So either they will ask you that the percentage of cuticular transpiration, 0.1%, 10%, 20%, 7%, that kind of option you will get. Got it?
Yes, sir.
And the next thing, who given the transpiration pull theory or cohesion tension theory? Dixon and Joly, right?
Yes, sir.
Factor influencing the transpiration, right? What are the factor which influences the transpiration? Relative humidity. Remember this thing. When relative humidity is high, means when temperature is low, then relative humidity will be high. When temperature is high, relative humidity will be low. Try to understand. That is the formula. If the relative humidity will be more, there will be less transpiration. If relative humidity will be less, then transpiration will be quite easy. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Air movement. Tell me, this question I've been asked. The transpiration, if there is a stormy season or stormy weather, the transpiration will be high, stop, low, or no transpiration. Suppose that stormy the situation is there, the wind is blowing with a very fast speed. So what will happen? Will there be transpiration? Will not be? Will it be increased, or will it be decreased? No idea. Please note it.
It won't take place.
Sorry,
It won't take place.
it won't increase. Yes, it won't increase. So what will happen?
Transpiration will decrease.
Transpiration will stop. Why? Try to understand. When wind speed is moderate, that will increase the transpiration because wind will take away the humidity. But when the wind will speed will convert into storm, because of that storm, stomata will close down and there will not be any transpiration. Clear? If you want, I will let you. I will dictate for you. If you want to note it down. Do you want to note it down?
Yes.
Please note it down.
Yes, sir.
Please note it down. This is the question, and this kind of the question can be framed in that 100 time. Right? Like there are the 100 ways to frame the question, right? From the same concept. But please note it down. When the wind speed increases, when wind speed increases, the rate of transpiration, the rate of transpiration also increases. The rate of transpiration also increases. Full stop. Because wind take away humidity, and due to this, rate of transpiration increases. Next point. When speed of when speed of wind increases and the weather becomes stormy, it makes stomata to close down. Full stop. So in the stormy weather, there will not be transpiration. Clear?
Yes.
So when the wind speed is 20 to 30 km per hour, transpiration will increase. If the wind speed will increase from the 40 to 50 km hour, the closing of stomata and there will not be transpiration. I have written over here clearly. If the air movement is high, then transpiration will be high, right? If air movement is high, so if movement of air will increase, then relative humidity will also increase, right? Now, what about the temperature? If temperature will increase, then transpiration will increase. So this is the directly proportional. That is very important. This statement very important. At the rise of every 10 degrees centigrade in temperature, the relative humidity will come down 50%. At the rise of 10 degrees centigrade temperature, the relative humidity will become 50% and transpiration will increase. Clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What is the light? Transpiration is directly proportional to the light. If light will increase, light intensity will increase, then temperature will increase and transpiration will also increase. If there is a too much light, what is light? If there is a too much light, what will happen? Please note it down. If there is a very high intensity of light, if there is a very high intensity of light, the cell organelle, will get oxidized and the cell will die, This is called solarization. Clear?
Yes.
Come to the next concept. How the uptake of mineral take place, right? So first thing, try to understand. Will it be active process or will it be passive process? Tell me first. Active or passive? Uptake of mineral will always be active, right? Why? There will always be higher concentration of the mineral inside the plant cell than soil. So the minerals are always taken against the concentration gradient. So that is the active process. That is the truly active process, right? So absorption of mineral is active process. What is the remobilization of mineral, right? So you will get the question, which of the following is not mobilized, which of the following is mobilized, right? So what is the remobilization, right? Try to understand. What happened? Suppose that this is an older leaf, right? Try to understand. I want your 100% focus. Suppose that this is an older leaf, right? This leaf will fell down in next 5 days or next 10 days. It has become yellow colored. Now, if it will fell down, what will happen? All the important constituent, all the important mineral which they will go away from the plant. So what plant will do? Before the leaf fell down, what plant will do? Plant will remobilize the elements. Some of the important element will be taken back by the plant stem, and the leaf will give to the plant stem, and then leaf will die, right? This is called a remobilization of mineral. Did you got that my point or not?
Yes, sir.
So what are the remobilized or mobilized element? What are the element which can mobilize from leaf to the plant? They are basically phosphorus, sulfur, nitrogen, and potassium. You have to remember the name of their name, right? So these elements can be remobilized. Now, what will happen? There is a substance, that is the calcium. Calcium is not remobilized. This question I have seen number of the time. Which of the following cannot be remobilized? Calcium. Clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So remember the name, which are the mobilized, which are not mobilized. Now the next concept is transport of the organic food. Transport of the organic food means transport of the food, basically. So transport of food takes place from leaf to the root part, right? Leaf to the root part. So how does it take place? This concept or this mechanism or this phenomena have been put forward through a theory or explained by a theory that is called source or sink theory or mass flow hypothesis. Mass flow hypothesis is a common name, and this is also known as the source and sink theory. So that theory explains how the food need to be transported from the leaf to the root, right? So that is called source sink theory and mass flow theory. So this theory explains the transport of organic substance. Explain transport of organic substances. Try to understand. I want your 100% focus over here, right? There are lots of questions. Please be 100% over here. So in source, and think, what is the source? Right now, I am a source and you are saying, why? I am transferring knowledge and you are receiving the knowledge. So I am source, you are saying. If you will tell something to me, then what will happen? You will become source and I will become sink, right? So that is a source and sink relation. Source, where the production, something is produced or production is taking place. Sink, where it is getting deposited or where it is stored. So what happened? This is the leaf. Try to understand. So preparation of food is done in the form of glucose, right? How it is transported? In which form it is transported? Tell me. Transportation of sugar takes place in the phloem tube through which of the following form of sugar? Any idea? Look, that is very important. If you want, I will dictate for you. Formation of food during the photosynthesis takes place in the form of glucose, but glucose is not transported. Glucose is a monosaccharide, means it is a combination of one molecule. It is converted into a disaccharide, that is sucrose, right? So formation of glucose, formation of food takes place in the form of glucose, but transport of sugar takes place in the form of sucrose. Glucose is monosaccharide and sucrose is disaccharide. Do you want it to note it down? Should I dictate it?
Yes, sir.
Please note it down. This is the question. Transport of substance takes place from leaf to the root in the form of sucrose, while formation of food takes place in the form of glucose. So basically, actually, time is over. I got the information. So in starting, we are just discussing the few topics. So the class time is just for 1 hour, and will increase, like when all of you will join us, then we'll increase the duration of the class, right? So normally we keep the class for the 1.5 hour. So gradually we will keep the class for the 1.5 hour. So till the time, please tell me, both of you. This is the last topic of the transport of the plant. Aisha and Rabia, both of you. Tell me, did you got each and everything whatever I have delivered to you? Crystal clear, or is there any ambiguity? Aisha, please tell me, as this is your first class. Did you got each and everything, or is there something left which you didn't got? Tell me, I didn't listen to you.
I understood.
So how, what is the percentage you understand? 90, 80, 70, or 100%?
Like 80% or above a bit.
Okay. So where is the problem? Like where is this 10-15% missing? What you didn't got? That's what I want to know. It will make me clear to what to deliver you more, right? Tell me, in which part you are lacking, or this is the first class, that's why you got only 80-85%.
That's why.
Okay, fine, no issue. What about you, Rabia? This is your second class, so tell me, what is the percentage you get it?
90 or 95%.
95%. So where is this 5% is lacking? Tell me. Is there some basic concept need to clear more?
Um,
Tell me frankly, feel free, because this is the platform where you can discuss, right?
yeah, so everything's clear. I have no doubt, to be honest.
Okay, fine, fine. So look, do one thing. Go through with all this PPT, right? Transportation part, right? Aisa, for you, and Rabia, for both of you, right? Go through it. Suppose that if you are encountering any basic query, for example, feel free to never hide anything from your teacher and your doctor. If you want, the best solution of your question, right? If you want to become like fit, then you have to share everything with your doctor. If you want to become sharper, if you want to become very competitive, then you have to share every problem with your teacher, right? Suppose that if you don't know what is the monosaccharide, what is the disaccharide, for example, then what do you have to note it down? What is the mono and disaccharide? Next time, just note it down, because if you'll keep it in your mind, that will wash away. So what you have to, you please note it down on your pen and paper, right? In next class, discuss me first. Starting of the class, ask me, sir, what is the disaccharide? What is the monosaccharide? I'll clear every time. Fine. Then it will become 100%.
Yes.
Clear?
Okay, so
Okay. So bye bye.